How's it going, ladies and bruises? I'm Bobby Sixkilla and welcome back to the life and suffering of Sir Brante. By the end of this episode, we should be fully fledged adults. I'm very excited to see what that entails, because I don't know if we've done well as a child, but we're still here, you know. So hopefully we can make something of ourselves. Tomorrow you turn 16. According to Imperial law, you'll be a full adult. Your time at Sir Tibor's school has ended. You've studied enough to apply for the Imperial College and learn the judge's trade there. You are to travel to Eterna tomorrow. Your friend Thomas will go there with you to try his luck in the Imperial capital. Mother and father prepare you for the long journey. I don't want to be a judge. Remember, son, there is only one goal for you. You must become a student at the Imperial College. Your teachers dragged you through all those books for a reason. You have the knowledge and fervour to be ennobled by the mantle, as I was, and as my late father was before me. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be the one to write the name Brante in the blue book and ensure that your children's children will be noble by birth. Then mother speaks to you carefully. There is worry in her eyes. But Robert, there may be another path for our son. Stefan, your firstborn, was born a noble. He will surely earn the title for the entire Brante family. Your second son bears the favour of the twins. For him, the path of priest is a worthy calling, no less than a nobleman's sword. They've been arguing about your future for a while now. Still, she would never defy the will of a nobleman and her husband. You smile at them both, trying to placate them. Gloria laughs quietly behind their backs. Just don't become a snoot like Stefan, and you'll do just fine. A snoot. Mother chides Gloria for that. You wink at your sister. Nathan has been downcast all evening. He barely touched his dinner. Whenever he gets up from the table, he suddenly rushes over to embrace you. Please don't go, Brucey. Can't you stay? I don't know what I'm going to do without you. You tussle his hair in response. There's no way you can stay now, you say. But when you come home, you'll come home, and you'll tell him all your stories and bring him a special present from Eterna. This is it. All your lessons have been learned. All your things have been packed for the road. You will leave the family home tomorrow. Tonight is your last night at home before your departure. You walk through the rooms one last time. The sitting room where Mother used to read you fairy tales. The library where Gloria used to spend all her time. Father's study, where you entered only on special occasions. The backyard where you taught Nathan to build towers one summer. The whole place feels so familiar, so dear to you. It feels like home. You lived here for 16 years. Will you ever return? It is getting late. Everyone is already in their rooms. But you hesitate. Father, Mother, Gloria, Nathan, all will be long. It will be a long time before you see them again. Who will you spend your last few hours with at home? I'm going to stick with Gloria. I know I can't actually put Gloria's friendship up because 5 is the max, so I'm not actually getting any benefit from that. But I am getting +2 ingenuity. Plus, I like Gloria the most. I do like Nathan though. No heart, nothing hard on you, Nathan. Maybe I could hang with you, get some willpower back. That willpower could come in handy later, eh? Fuck it, let's do Nathan. I want that willpower. And Nathan's a good sort too, you know? Nathan's already in bed snoring. You approach your brother quietly and pat him on the head. He's startled but starts smiling with joy when he realizes it's you. Hi, hey, can we go outside? I need your help with something. You creep silently downstairs. The air outside is damp, and drops of dew glisten in the night. Nathan drags you toward the bushes. You spotted a kitten. A spotted kitten looks at you from the bushes with sad eyes. You see a bowl of water and some scraps of food next to it. Look, he ran into our yard today. See, he's got a broken paw. We need to save the poor kitten. You pat Nathan on the head. Together you sneak the poor animal into the house and take him into the storage closet. Then you close the closet door and begin the treatment. If anyone was clumsy in your family, it's Nathan. Yet his hands are unusually accurate and calm as he binds the kitten's paw. You start chatting as you treat the kitten. As you think out loud about living in the capital and working towards your goal, Nathan strokes the poor animal's wet fur. He sighs. It's tough for me, you know, thinking about being a grown-up. I'm not much of anything even now. I wish I could be like you. You sure know where you're going and who you're going to be. You shrug. No, I mean it. I can't be like that. They say I'm going to study too and go to Eterna and become a priest or go to the college, but there's no way I can make it there. Does that mean there's nothing else out there for me? You'll be leaving soon, and I'll be all alone here. You'll write to me. I know you will. And you'll come back one day, but I'm scared. Scared I might lose my way when you're not around. You'll come back, but it'll be different. You'll be different. I'll be different too. You swear to Nathan that even if everything changes, you'll always be his brother. You will always be there to offer him advice and support, and you have no doubt that he will find his way in life. It just takes some time to find yourself. sometimes more than you might expect. The sun is about to rise. You should rest before the long trip, but you're not tired at all. Nevertheless, it is time for bed. Before you leave, Nathan hugs you again. Please promise you'll come back, Brucey. You swear to him that he will. You get into bed and fade away into a gentle, happy sleep. They will be waiting for you back here, no matter what. Look at that! Lots of willpower. I'm going to need that later. You leave the family home for a long time. Your future awaits you in Eterna, the capital of the Empire. Here we go. Are we an adult now? Last night was your final night at home. The carriage is now waiting at the gate, ready to take you to the capital. The clip-clopping of the idle hooves against the cobblestones count the seconds before your departure. You take one more look at your parents' house and recall your childhood spent there, and the nearby yards at your school and on the winding streets of Anazot. You clashed with the greater world around you and survived. You felt the tingle of emotion for the first time. You were taught by the school and the streets. You explored the city of your birth and learned something of its past. You witnessed first-hand events that will be remembered by history for all time. All of this is yours now, forever. You saw death, lesser death followed by rebirth, and the true death that takes and never gives back. You saw death lying in wait to strike the unaware like a beast stalking its prey. You saw grandfather's angry grimace lit by the flickering fire of the lamp, the Archduke's cavalry trampling those who stood in their way, and your older brother bloodied swords slicing through the air. Death has followed you from a very young age. And yet you live on. You have a friend who has been by your side all these years. Thomas taught you many things. Now, how to take a hit, how to keep your word, how to remain true to your own self, and now Thomas is walking to the same carriage as you are, with a heavy bag slung over his shoulder. Your friend will remain your companion for the time being. Ahead of you is a long trip toward the capital and adulthood. For the first time, you will be away from your family and home. What awaits you in the future? That's what I want to find out. Important life events. Lots of stuff, yeah. Personality. 4 nobility, 7 ingenuity, nice. 2 spirituality, not so good. Inner strength, 15 willpower and 1 death. So not that much, I haven't really achieved that much, have I, in 16 years? Oh well. Can't win them all, I suppose.
Leaving my hometown behind, I set out for the capital of the Empire. There, I would discover my role in society.
I love that parallax effect, man. Looks so good. So tasty. I'm ready. Time to be an adult and shit. The driver flicks the reins. The carriage slowly sways as it starts moving away from your home. You stick your head out the window and wave goodbye to your family. Nathan is running after the carriage with Thomas, his younger brother, in tow, tears glistening in their eyes. It hurts to leave your home behind. Ahead lies Eterna, the imperial capital. You've often read about it and heard stories from Father and Stefan. It is a city that surpasses Anazot enormously in terms of size, age, wealth, and beauty. But what is it really like? What kind of life awaits you there? What will you learn there, and where will your actions take you? You pass the old walls of Anazot. Somewhere within them is the old fortress you and Thomas built together out of wooden planks, now left to the care of your younger brothers. You two are adults now. Perhaps your fortress will crumble now abandoned, or perhaps your brothers will continue what you started. Who knows? You look down at your hands, knuckles covered in scars from street antics, fingers stained with ink. Mother gave you a cross to wear away from home, and now you feel its warmth against your chest. Your family counts on you, even though they all wish a different future for you. But they are behind you now, in Anazot. From this point on, only you will decide which road you will take. This is the journey you're prepared for throughout your entire childhood. Ahead of you lie many years in the capital, years that will determine your fate and your place in society. New personal qualities. These are your personal qualities in adulthood, which you will use for the rest of your life. They are the sum of qualities you've gained in childhood and adolescence. For most skill checks, you'll need a value between 10 and 16. Values 17 and 19 are required for rare and especially difficult choices. The maximum value 20 only gives you a chance for one extraordinary deed. Diplomacy, 10. Oh man, so that gives us the bare minimum for a skill check in diplomacy. Cool. Manipulation, 13. That gives us an average chance at a basic manipulation skill check. Good. Theology. Below necessary, so we're going to fail with anything like that. Valor. Same. Too low. Scheming, also low. Oh my god. Eloquence, terrible. So I can't pass any skill checks that aren't like... So I could maybe pass a diplomacy skill check, a manipulation skill check, that's my best chance. And that's it. Diplomacy and manipulation, that's all we've got. Okay. We got that silver tongue. Wow. Bronze. Anyway. We got that bronze tongue. Oh, lots of stuff. Well, I don't want to read through it. I don't want to... Can we boost these? I assume we can boost these, right? I was going to go with like a soldier or something, but Valor is poor. I thought it'd be high because of Thomas, you know. We did a bit of fighting in our time. Thomas taught us to fight. It takes a whole month to reach Eterna. You and Thomas spent the days wagging your chins and staring at the scenery as your carriage makes its way along the road and towards the next province. Soon as it crosses from the familiar barren, arid lands of Magra to the stately mountains of Illyria. During one of your many stays at a roadside inn, the two of you even managed to share a whole bottle of strong wine and keep it a secret from the servant who drives the carriage. Adult life feels positively intoxicating, as does the wine. Soon I'll tell you. Soon we'll be there. And I'll earn my sword as soon as I get accepted into the military academy, you'll see. And then nobody's going to walk over me like I'm some commoner. You keep rehearsing everything they taught you in school. Soon you're almost at the end of your long journey. You've left behind the arid rocks of Magra, the mountains of Illyria, and the flooded meadows of Arknia. Eterna, the capital, is right ahead. Situated at the junction between the Riglata and Talrina rivers, the city is vast. 3 majestic stone bridges keep its 3 shores interconnected. Smooth stone paves the main city streets. Gilded mouldings decorate the buildings. Towering pillars reach high into the sky. Your carriage takes you past a spacious park with marbled fountains and intricately trimmed bushes. On the streets, you see ornately decorated carriages bearing Arknian coats of arms and abundant merchants' tents filling the streets with beckoning cries and unusual sights. The spires of ancient temples dot the city skyline. The carriage comes to a halt in a large city square with a towering marble fountain. The coachman says you've arrived. Thomas is to apply to the military academy. The academy barracks are 2 streets away. Your lodging house is in the alleyway nearby. A room has already been reserved for you. You get out into the street and say brief goodbyes to each other. You promise to meet again after the entrance exams. Then your friend disappears into the crowded streets of the capital. You're left to your own devices in this vast city. A group of nobles walk past. They're dressed in well-fitting clothing, decorated with gems and golden thread. You're not even noticed. Street urchins chase a dog down the alleyway. Soldiers of the Imperial Legion are marching to fifes and drums toward the barracks. Humble pilgrims are gathering to the great temple of the twins. There are sounds of music and fountains, and the smells of baked bread and garbage drains. You quickly check at the lodging house, then go back outside. The sun is setting. The streetlights come to life. Merry music fills the taverns. Couples and noble coaches with tinted windows fill the streets. Shadows and hushed voices and laughter fill the parks. You're all alone with this city, so vast and unfamiliar. You take a look around, determined to fill your first night in the capital with memories. You see young nobles gathering by the fountain, talking and making jokes excitedly. One of them keeps glancing at the clock tower. They're about your age. Their clothes are hand-tailored, and 2 of them bear noble swords. They seem to be waiting for something. It might be a good idea to make their acquaintance. It would be most helpful to develop a familiarity with the influential nobles of the capital. I thought we weren't allowed to talk to nobles or we'll get stabbed or something. Loud music from a large establishment on the corner distracts you for a moment. The servants have just opened the shutters to air out the hall. It seems there will be a gathering inside. People from various estates greet each other as they take their seats. A servant by the door of the establishment hails you. Sir Great Arknian will be making a speech about the rights of the common estate. If you wish to listen, you better get inside quickly. Then you look at the great temple of the twins at the far end of the street. The pillar shines in the evening dusk above it. The temple gates are open. The worshippers are flocking inside. There are too many people for an ordinary service. This must be something important. What do they preach here in the capital? What do they say of the new faith and the teachings of Patriarch Photis? You snap out of your reverie when you hear loud laughter. A group of young men dressed in the colours of the Imperial College have made the acquaintance of several lovely girls. They're making their way down the road, united by merriment. One of the girls smiles at you. It's an invitation to join them. They turn the corner and walk away, but you can still hear their voices ringing and echoing through the street. A night of revelry and jolly. Loud fun doesn't sound half bad. Jolly loud fun. This is your first night in Eterna. No matter what you choose, you will remember it for a long time to come. Alright, what do we got? This will boost our diplomacy and manipulation, which is already our strong stuff, right? This boosts eloquence and manipulation. This boosts theology and eloquence. And this just boosts willpower again. Diplomacy and manipulation seems to be our strong suit, right? So I suppose we should... We could do this one, but let's... It's going to cost us willpower. What do we got? We got 15. We're good for willpower. Let's go meet the young nobles. You approach the young nobles and introduce yourself tactfully. Your father, a judge, has sent you here to study, you explain. Would they mind showing you around the capital? The nobles eye you uncertainly and whisper to each other. You prepare to face their rejection, but to your surprise they agree. When the clock tower strikes 8, your new acquaintances proceed to a rich house not too far away. Candlelight fills the halls before you, reflected in abundant mirrors and gilded picture frames. Manservants bring drinks and refreshments to every guest. They are the sounds of music and laughter and small talk. Here and there you see couples dancing to the music. It appears you've made it to a small noble party. The nobles are gathered in groups. You take the time to get introduced to each of them and join in their small talk. Some discuss their studies at the college, while others relay fresh gossip. Have you heard of that a Melanidus carriage was seen in the city the other day? You mentioned how you once encountered Octavia Melanidus, daughter and heiress to the Archduke of Magra, at a square in Anazot. These words draw a small crowd. The Melanidus dynasty rarely, if ever, visit Eterna. They say it is the only house that can stand its ground against the Imperial Tempest dynasty. One young man even allows himself a little joke. They say the Great Arknian house turn to a Melanidus only when a Tempest needs to be refused. After all, only the Melanidus dynasty still knows how to say no. But there is more. It turns out all humans owe the Melanidus dynasty for their foray into nobility. Char Melanidus was the Arknian who opened the first college, and its graduates were the first to be ennobled by the mantle. To feed and nourish their barren land, the Dukes of Magra took to industry and began adopting innovative industrial and social practices. The dynasty's motto is remembrance and majesty, but strife and change would suit them better. Then the nobles start discussing the other great Arknian dynasties. The Tempest dynasty is the first of the first, naturally, marked by the twins anointed to rule. All Tempests are known for their sincerity, often bordering on a volatile temper, yet it is this very passion that has led them throughout history. The Tempests have been chosen by the gods to rule the empire. The Diamant dynasty are the main supporters of the emperor's family. Honor personified, the Diamants preside at the Arknian courts of honor that remain throughout the empire in spite of the public taboo. These courts hold more sway over the laws and lives of the nobility than imperial edicts or prefectural authorities. Some mention Patriarch Junius Diamant, the black sheep of his own dynasty. He preaches the new faith that rejects the lots and stirs the minds of the common folk. The Orgriff dynasty is another noble bloodline favoured by the emperor. They zealously advocate the twins' faith and see the empire as the union between heaven and earth. Every year, the Orgriffs donate enough funds to build new temples across the empire. The Monrogue dynasty is an ancient and controversial name. The Monrogues often speak in favour of removing humans from nobility, restoring nobility as a solely Arknian privilege, and returning all human-manned officers in the empire to the Arknians. Many gossipers accuse the Monrogues of plotting against the rule of the Tempests to bring back the old Arknian Republic and the joint rule of the Great Arknian dynasties as it existed long before the emperors first came to be. The discussion of courtly affairs and noble dynasties soon gives way to cultured entertainment. Expensive wine flows like water. You too ask a couple noble ladies to dance and show your skill. You return to your lodging rooms in the small hours of the night with just enough strength left to undress before your aching head and feet make you collapse. For the first time in your life, you have mingled with a noble crowd on your own, without your family's aid. You arrived in Eterna, an ancient capital of the blessed Arknian Empire. I sure did, and I'm enjoying it already. We've only been an adult for a year and we've been getting pissed the entire time. You spent the last 3 days studying books, but today you decide to take a walk through the streets of Eterna. They are full of life as usual. You proceed to the square next to the lodging house. A procession of priests walk through the square. You notice that one of them holds a banner of the new faith, an open book. This is the same banner that was behind Patriarch Photis on the day of his assassination. A crowd immediately gathers around him. Many people are looking at the icon painting on a small pedestal depicting a grey-haired man with glowing green eyes. You recognise that face. The face of the late patriarch Photis. A man with a thick beard appears by the icon painting. His broad shoulders bear a white and gold cloak, with the coat of arms of the capital province embroidered on it. He is Luke, Patriarch of Arknia. He casts his stern gaze over the crowd. I speak to all who live within the sight of the shining pillar. Exactly 1 year ago we lost Photis, Patriarch of the Magra province, mentor of the new faith. Patriarch Photis was the first to see the books of Asatius for nothing but the words of a man, not the words of the twins themselves. He was the first to tell people to seek the path of the gods in their own hearts instead of blindly following the lots, to seek answers in the lives of the twins and their own hearts rather than the words of priests. Through Patriarch Photis we were able to see the truth. Through his death we saw that his words are not heresy. They are the truth that used to be obscured by Asatius' lies. And now I bring you good news. Patriarch Junius Diamant has seen to it that our teacher will be canonized as a saint. Yes, Junius Diamant, an Arknian from a great dynasty, and the Patriarch of Astinia has joined the new faith himself. And through this, we hope that the entire empire will soon see that our doctrine is the truth. We are free from the shackles of the lots. We are equal before the twins. With each day, more and more people hearken to the truth, and one day the entire empire will hear our call. So let us pray, my brothers. The believers around you bow their heads in prayer and thank the twins, not for the lot they were given, as they usually would, but for the chance to choose their own path. The Patriarch's sermon is inspiring. It compels your hands to meet in a sign of prayer. It compels your lips to repeat the words of the new faith. Patriarch Luke's sermons form a cadence, and your heart beats in time with it now. You recall the murder of Patriarch Photis a year ago. It seems more patriarchs share his doctrine now. The news of Junius Diamant joining the new faith is stunning. If an Arknian from a great dynasty has sided with Photis' doctrine and agreed to see everyone as equals under the twins, the new faith must truly be putting down roots. But suddenly several figures appear by the podium, figures clad in black with glinting silver on their sides. Inquisitors. They push through the crowd and form a circle around Patriarch Luke. One of these priests arrives before the crowd. He is clean-shaven, tall, with chiseled features. Everyone falls silent at the sight of him. The Inquisitor speaks with a booming voice that can be heard by all. I am Father Ulrich. In the name of the twins and by my right as an Inquisitor, I order you to turn around and leave. The words you are hearing are full of lies. Patriarch Luke has set out to poison your hearts and minds, and the Inquisition will not allow this heresy to spread. The only true path in life is the will of the twins. Life offers us no other choice. You are hereby ordered to disperse at once. Most people leave the square immediately. Few want to get involved with the Inquisition. Some people stay, however, and some people even shout angrily. We want to listen to Luke. He is the Patriarch of Arknia, and he has more to say. Get away from our sermon, old believers. We will not listen to you and your hoary old lies about the lots. Inquisitors bring those who may yet listen back to their lots, and leave the others to the champions of faith. The black-clad Inquisitor descends from the podium and approach the people who choose to stay. With nothing but their words, they make people stop shouting and start listening. The uproar ceases quickly. They have dissected the crowd, split it into smaller groups that surround each Inquisitor. One of these Inquisitors chooses to approach you. He is a humble-looking man with age with a rough haircut. He looks you straight in the eye as he lively, soulful voice forces you to listen to his words despite yourself. My name is Father Jeremiah. I know your thoughts were stirred by the Patriarch's words. You are not sure whom to trust, but I teach at the seminary, and I have been studying the teachings of the twins my entire life. You can trust me. I know you hear what I have to say. I see the light in your eyes, the light of the true faith. Will you listen to my counsel, my son? You feel no malice in the words of the Inquisitor Jeremiah, only hope. It is his lot to aid you and to guide you away from error and set you on the path of true faith. He is a priest, so he should know the truth. Or perhaps the Inquisitor himself is in the wrong. I could debate him. We should resist him. Diplomacy is much higher than eloquence. We should stick with that, because we are an idiot when it comes to eloquence. Our eloquence is 4. Resist. You strike a pose of authority and eye Father Jeremiah sharply. Inquisitors cannot order people around, you say. It is not within the lots of the clergy. Only nobles can give you orders. The other commoners look at you in terror. You've just defied an inquisitor. However, Father Jeremiah still looks at you without any of the anger that you had expected. My son, your words do indeed contain a germ of truth. I am an inquisitor of the clergy and, by the will of the twins, I cannot give you any orders. But know this, the Inquisition does not imprison everyone suspected of heresy. We exist to protect souls, to guide and save them. We pursue dangerous doctrines and seek to rescue every soul that we meet. Arrest or execution is our last resort, reserved only for sinners beyond redemption. You can see that I am merely speaking to you right now. I have not resorted to force, nor am I giving you any orders. But if the need arises, I will summon the champions of faith, nobles who will be there to give orders and punish those who defy the church. But as long as you are not calling for the overthrow of faith, you are safe from them, and, as you said, it is not within my lot to give you orders. You're free to go, but expect no mercy in the hereafter, for after we die, there will be none. With a bitter smile, the Inquisitor leaves you and proceeds further. You leave the square freely, your dignity preserved. The remaining people in the square continue arguing with the other Inquisitors. Armed champions of faith stand nearby, but they do not intervene. Luke and his retinue can no longer be seen. Only one thing keeps nagging at you. Father Jeremiah's words about how there'll be no mercy in the hereafter. Yeah, look at that diplomacy. Hell yeah. I didn't know that was the stat I'm going for, but I sure as shit do now. Patriarch Luke's sermons have converted many commoners and nobles of the mantle to the new faith. There are now several temples in Eterna that follow the new canons, with Luke's blessing. This has led to no small amount of anger among the followers of the old faith. Two mighty bishops of the church lead the new faith. One of them is Luke, the Patriarch of Arknia himself, spiritual mentor of the capital province. He preaches all across Arknia, his every sermon adding to the new faith's flock. The other leader of the new faith is Patriarch Junius Diamant. Hailing from a Great Arknian dynasty, he is the de facto ruler of the Estonia province. Adored by his subjects, he has founded the Holy Order anew. Julius Diamant rarely preaches, but people believe the Estonian Patriarch attends to the needs of all who convert to the new faith. The schism within the church is growing. The split has furthered the divide between the commoners and the nobles, though thankfully there has been no direct conflict as of yet. But it has become clear that there is no way to stop the steady advance of the new faith. Born from the death of Patriarch Photis, it grows stronger by the day. I almost feel like Photis probably hired someone to kill him himself. You know, as a martyr, to strengthen his cause. You know what I mean? Just seems like that would be obvious it would have that effect, you know. The next few weeks pass by in hard work and preparation for the coming entrance exam at the Imperial College. You grow more and more exhausted with each passing day, so much so that one night you fall asleep while studying another book. When you finally come to, you decide it is high time to get some recreation outside. The city of Eterna amazes you as you stroll through its splendid streets. It is another night, a different night, yet the city is beautifully still. The shining pillar is a slice of light against the dark night sky. The lamps on the facades of the buildings are lit. Night descends on the capital. You do not feel like going back to your books tonight. Recently you made the acquaintance of several young men. They are children of nobles of the mantle just like you, sent to the capital to earn their noble titles at the college. You decide to seek them out. Your new friends are having a late dinner on the next street over, loudly discussing their plans for the night. Some speak eagerly of a dueling club where you can see the most skilled and ardent duelers in the Empire doing what they do best. You've never seen professional duelers fight. It must be far more exciting than Father's fencing lessons or that fight in the ruins in Anazot. And if luck favours you, perhaps you could even make useful contacts among the noble families of the capital. The others try to convince the rest to take a trip to a certain secret location. The establishment is expecting a guest tonight, they say, a young lady who speaks about the true state of affairs in the Empire. There are many questions about the nature of the place and identity of the mysterious speaker, but the young men have only one answer. They are forbidden to speak about this outside the club. However, they can take you there, as long as you aren't afraid to learn the dangerous truth. There are others still drinking their fill of wine rather than eating. Fencing, they say? Speeches? Nonsense. The place you ought to go tonight, they claim, is the Markian Society, a gathering for those of common estate but uncommon opinions that offer pleasure for everyone. Pleasures of the palate, pleasures of drink, pleasures of the flesh. Is this not heresy and a crime? Perhaps. And yet some of your newfound friends are eager to go there. In the end, your group splits into three to spend the night as they see fit. What will it be? A contest featuring the best fencers in Eterna. An establishment both mysterious and dangerous, or an encounter with people who defy their lot with audacity. You weigh your options. Man, I wanna go to the establishment. I want to learn dangerous truths. I like dangerous truths. They're my favorite. Scheming. Jesus. Well, if I wanted to put one of these stats up, it'd probably be Valor. I'd like to put Valor up. I'm probably... If I was choosing not based on stats, I'd go to the Secret Salon. But based on stats, I want to go to the Dueling Club. I want to put up my Valor in case I need to get into a fight later, you know what I mean? Let's do that. Oh man, I need to wrap this episode up, I didn't even notice. You march down the street toward the Dueling Club, which is located in a manor house, decorated rather modestly on the outside, but lavishly on the inside. One of your newfound friends nods to the servants, and they let you in. The rooms are stuffy, noisy, and filled with tobacco smoke. The sitting room is enormous. In the centre is an arena, a circle with wooden railings. 2 young nobles are fighting there already. You take a glass of wine from a servant and watch the fight as from one of the many soft chairs. You cannot bear a sword yet, but nobody says you cannot watch. As soon as a dueler is wounded, the fight ends. But the way they fight still makes the audience gasp and scream in awe. When a dueler is too slow to dodge, the duel ends with a bright red line cut through his sweat-soaked white shirt. The thin fencing swords cut through the air so quickly, you can only see glints of flashing steel, like lightning in a storm. You do your best to remember all the feints and tricks you see tonight. They'll come in handy when you earn your own sword. But then, a tall young Arknian enters the room. He barges in from behind you and leaps into the arena between the 2 fences, thus ending the duel. He bears the coat of arms with a griffin. This Arknian hails from the great dynasty of Orgriff. The Arknian's voice booms as he challenges everyone in the audience to a duel. He sneers smugly. If you consider yourself nobles, then how about you face an Arknian lord in honourable combat? No one moves. No one dares to step forth. A duel with an Arknian is suicide, especially if that Arknian hails from one of the great dynasties. Such a duel will end with a lesser death at best, or with a true death through trial and execution at worst. Everyone knows the punishment for spilling blue blood, and so everyone remains silent. The Arknian grins. So humans are cowards, he says. You will never be true nobles if you're never ready to risk a lesser death. The Arknian honour and tradition is not for you. The war is not your domain either. For human nobles are but a mockery, a gathering of animals dressed to resemble higher beings. A man leaps onto the arena. He is as tall as a tree. His pockmarked face is white with rage and covered in scars. There are whispers of reverence in the audience. This is Marth Ferasti, the owner of the club. He has accepted the challenge for the honour of all human nobles. He has yearned to fight an Arknian all his life. Now is his chance. The duelists salute each other and Ser Ferasti begins the attack. A lunge, a jab, another, and then another. The young Arknian deflects each attack like he knows the opponent's every move. Ser Ferasti's eyes twitch with tension. The owner of the club lunges again, but the Arknian deflects his sword and rips the weapon out of the human's hands. Marth Ferasti looks at the Arknian in confusion, then bows his head in recognition of his defeat. The Orgriff youth flashes a proud, superior grin. His fencing sword lifts the sleeve of his defeated opponent. It bears 3 black marks of lesser death. Now the young Arknian sees Ser Ferasti with a mockery of sadness and compassion. Why, it appears the poor, overeager ex-commoner is on his last life. Ferasti shudders. He asks the Orgriff youth to be so kind as to spare his life, nobleman to nobleman. The Arknian's face grows dark and grim. His sword stabs deep into Ferasti's chest. Then the Orgriff youth speaks, loud enough for everyone to hear. He is the only noble in this hall, he says, and everyone who saw this must forget the dueling club ever existed and leave this place, never to return. The nobles scowl, dress reluctantly, and leave with quiet resentment. No one dares to defy the Arknian openly. The noble gathering disperses outside. You return to your lodging house, lost in thought. Arknians stand far above humans. They do not care if you're a commoner or a high-ranked noble. In their eyes, you're only human. It seems that there is nothing that can readily oppose Arknian power. They are the masters of this world, and humans are pale reflections of them at best. The trip to the dueling club ended on a grim note, but you learn a lot from watching Eterna's best duelers in action. You recall their lunges and blocks before you sleep, rather than the master of the dueling club being murdered in cold blood. Man, we only get 4 years of youth? God damn, that's gonna run out fast, Jesus. Alright, I'm going to wrap it up here. I won't go through this bit. I'll leave that till next time, because last time I ended up running on way too long. And this time's already looking like it's going to do that, so I'm going to leave it here. I'm enjoying being a youth. This has been good. I'm getting drunk, having a good time. You know, time to learn some valor, I think, because I feel like we're going to need it later. I'm worried that I won't be able to fight. I want to go join Thomas at the soldier place. But then again, Silver Tongue seems to be our jam, and that's always something I go for in every video game that lets you like do persuasion. I fucking love persuasion. It's my favorite, so let's stick with that for the most part. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.